But yeah, we'll move on now to a movie that didn't exist through a week ago. And that is Taylor Swift Eras Tour. So last week on, if you were listening to Let's Be Real, this movie was never announced, never in existence, and it was announced midway through the week. We're going to cover some of the box office attributes about this because it blows my mind, and I'm kind of freaking out about it. So need a little bit of help there, but I keep getting surprised by, different box office revelations post COVID-19. Spider-Man No Way Home, sure, you had all the Spider-Man there, but like to do 1.9 without China, it's still very impressive, and it was still a significant time for COVID-19. Top Gun Maverick becoming like 1.5 billion something, very surprising. Top five in the US ever, so that's very surprising. Avatar being able to replicate its success with the third all time 2.4, 2.3 billion. Ridiculous. And Barbie continuing to break things. Oppenheimer might be $1 billion R-rated biopic that's 3 hours long. And now we're getting Taylor Swift Eras Tour. And let me just say some of the stuff about this movie. So it broke the record on AMC for first day ticket sales for a film with 26 million in the first day. But the previous record was Spider-Man No Way Home, and that did 16.9 million in the first 24 hours. And the 26 million that I just referred to for Taylor Swift, that was in 3 hours. It nearly broke it by 10 million in, I think, a seventh of the time. Just, you can't make this up. This is completely historic. This is insane. It's ridiculous. And if we want to keep getting more silly about it, it broke the record for the first 24 hours of pre-sales with 50 million. It succeeds Avengers Endgame with 46 million. That movie only had something like 25 films to build up to it in about 10 years. So it's just insane. Fandango reported it's the biggest day for ticket sales so far in 2023, and that it's selling similar to Endgame, The Force Awakens, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Some of the biggest films of all time. I just I don't have much words to really try and articulate for it. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be brutally honest here. Anyone who's replied to my stuff on Twitter about this and saying, "Oh, it's the biggest artist in the world," I'm not surprised. You are just silly. You no, it is a surprise. You can't make these numbers up. The biggest concert film in the world. This is a concert film. It is not a film. All right, it's a concert film. It shot the Los Angeles concert. The biggest one that ever did this was Justin Bieber, and it made 71 total at the domestic box office. And it's at 50, and Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is at 50 million pre-sales, 24 hours. Like, it's a massive surprise. No film's done this in history. It's a surprise. All right, Nan, I'm just thinking about some of the replies that I got. I'm getting heated. Take it away from me. What do you think about these box office numbers?
The biggest singer of all time.
Don't start with me. I will end this right now, right here.
Nah, but it is surprising, but then not surprising at the same time. I mean, she has like over 200 million followers on Instagram, so clearly that will translate over.
Yeah.
New music fans are a different beast. So if they want to see if the movie's coming out with one of their, favorite singers in it, they're obviously going to flood to the cinemas and watch it. But the fact that it's like up there selling similar to Endgame and Force Awakens and No Way Home, like those are all three of those, in fact, films, especially the first two, had like so much hype around it.
Yeah.
Endgame finishing off a 10-year story, Force Awakens, the first Star Wars film to carry off after the originals, and No Way Home, having the all three Spider-Man in it to be rumored until it actually happened.
Yeah.
Those had some big, big things over it. But the fact that like a music tour or a concert movie is putting these numbers, like not even Michael Jackson. I think we can all agree that like he's probably one of the greatest like pop stars
Yeah.
ever.
He had it with This Is It. I think it's top three
Yeah.
concert film. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that Taylor Swift, shit, I'd love to. It's gonna be fun discussing the box office for this film when it comes out because I think those numbers are just gonna be insane that none of us would have ever thought. Like it,
Yeah.
like it could potentially reach 100 million if it's already at 56 pre-sales. You know,
Mhm.
just casuals walking up. It could reach there, might not. Who knows? But maybe like definitely high 80s and above is where I'd put it.
Well, looking at just pre-sales and everything right now, I think this movie is going to be the biggest opener of the year. It's going to
Bigger than
succeed Barbie.
Barbie.
It's gonna be Barbie. It's gonna be Mario. And I I mean, I've seen a lot about this because people are taking it seriously now because they didn't think anything of it because it's Taylor Swift and it's a concert movie. It's not an actual movie. Um, yeah, they're looking at stuff like 200 million is a real possibility. It's not out of reach, and if the demand's there, then cinemas they're gonna go for it. But I don't know how big this movie is going to be. It There could be a chance that you can't really determine too much of pre-sales for this movie either because one, it doesn't play on weekdays at all for the US. So you're only having the weekends. So in turn, that's going to boost every weekend itself because no one can go see it on a weekday. And yeah, I don't know how you look at it because you can look at it in a way that the Swifties, the fan base is what essentially what they're called. They're all just going to pile on to the pre-sales and just try and get their tickets as soon as possible. It really depends on all the other people, all the other Swifties or all the other casual audiences, them coming through and pulling through to create kind of this big weekend that is building up to be. We'll have to see how pre-sales track for this. You're right; it is going to be a very fun movie to look at the box office. Even if it does anything over 70 million, I think it's just insane. Like I think it's just stupid. In like a good way. I mean, look, I'll look at it now. Concert movies. Just opening weekend there. The highest one's 31 million for Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, Best of Both Worlds concert. Next one is 29 million with Justin Bieber. Nothing's crossed 73 million. And the Michael Jackson one is This Is It with 72 million. So these are unprecedented numbers, both in one category. And if it goes to 200 million, that's the ninth film to do it ever. And it's not a real film. And it would be, I think it would be the first non-franchise thing ever to do it. I mean, you can consider Taylor Swift a franchise if you want, but I do not because it's not in any movie format in any kind of way. But
It is
if it
now.
opens up, pardon?
It is now.
It is now. I don't know what this does for the future of cinema because you can bet um your life savings that if this movie beats Barbie for the opening weekend, just the opening weekend, it's going to turn ahead. All the big studio execs, they're going to turn their head and be like, "How this movie that wasn't a complete movie like we do opened to this kind of number? How
No
do we do
trailers,
that?"
no build up, nothing.
No, just Taylor Swift announcing it on Instagram. It's a real testament to Taylor Swift and her popularity. Honestly, just really good stuff on her part there. I know that the tour itself is I think it's tracking to be the biggest tour in history. I think Elton John is the biggest tour in history so far, but it's looking to make $2 billion in its in her tour. Yeah, just insane stuff. And if she can add on, at least like 500 million from the box office for this concert movie, then it's a real testament to her status as a celebrity and pop star. Um, we'll have to see how the international rollout is with this, whether she decides to release the film in line with that country's the date of her concert, because I know she's coming to New Zealand, I think late this year or early next year. I think it's early next year. So
I have no
I
idea.
yeah, I think we'll get it around that time, just to coincide with that concert date, so people that missed out on the concert can actually just go to the movies and see it. It's actually quite a good marketing strategy. I
Probably
guarantee we'll see
cheaper.
more of this. Yeah, probably cheaper, 100% cheaper. Um,
$70 for a front row seat at the Taylor Swift movie.
$70 is very generous, my friend. It's probably like $300, maybe even 500. Just the way this concert's kind of selling. Um, but yeah, we'll move on now. That's enough Taylor Swift for the Let's Be Real podcast. I don't know if we'll say that name again here. But no, we will, because the box office could be insane for the movie.